When you love what you have everything you need.
So I done tryna fuck you, baby. Yeah. Hopefully we don't have no baby. It's Nyree, I don't even wanna go back home. Hopefully I don't be on your arm. What is this love and war? He know that I love him, got him fucking me raw. He know I ain't with it, never did it before. He got me all in my feelings, now he got you all in yours. Ooh, it's like that.
What's up, Sonshine Nation? It's your girl K Golden, and as I can tell from the title, we're back again with another video. And this video is a long overdue video, so I'm not going to waste time in talking. Just shout out to all my mommy friends and all my mommies to be. So let's get into this. Alright, so if you know me or have me on any social media, you know I have a handsome baby boy named Desmond, aka Lil Des. He was born on February 14th, 2019 at 8:10 p.m. So this is my story of my labor and delivery. My due date was initially February 6th. I was 39 weeks. Me and my mother was trying to like induce my labor because I was trying to have him on February 6th. Basically the week of February 6th we had drove around, like my mother drove me from North Carolina to South Carolina, North Carolina to Charlotte, trying to, you know, induce my labor. Like when I tell y'all I was trying everything, I was running, doing jumping jacks, bouncing on a yoga ball, dancing like crazy. I was just doing everything under the sun, and this boy really did not want to come. So on February 3rd, I had, this is a TMI, but I had lost my mucus plug, and I thought I was about to, you know, give birth. So I was like, yes, he coming, cause y'all, I was just so tired, and I was just like, I'm ready to have this baby. But I get to the hospital, and then, you know, they get me settled in, and then the nurse goes, yeah, you're only 2.5 centimeters dilated. If you want to walk around the hospital and see me dilate some more, you can, because we can keep you at 4 centimeters. But I'm like, no, because I'm about to be literally 40 weeks. So he is not about to come just to me home, basically. And then my last doctor's appointment was February 5th. So when I went to the doctor, basically his doctors was like, well, my doctors was like, you know, we don't see him coming out by tomorrow, so we're just gonna go ahead and schedule for an inducement. For those who don't know what an inducement is when you go to the hospital and basically they give you, or inject you with man-made contractions and do like little mechanisms to basically force you to give birth, because this is just to help prevent from being overdue and stuff like that and going past like the mark for you to be, you know, pregnant. So for me, I had to get that because my due date was February 6th, and here we are February 5th, and I wasn't dilating, I wasn't doing nothing, my water didn't break. So yeah. Well, my induction date was February 13th, so we're gonna fast forward to February 13th. When February 13th came, I'm like super excited. I'm like, yes, I'm about to be, you know, induced. I'm about to finally have my baby. I'm about to meet him. I'm so happy. I was on YouTube like all night, like the night before, searching up, you know, what to pack in your hospital bag, even though I've been searching that up my whole pregnancy, but I just wanted to research it up. So I'm like, what to bring in my hospital bag, you know, this is really about to happen. I'm scared, so like, let me watch a video that's gonna get my mental together. Like, how is it gonna be? My mother had went down to Florida to handle some stuff, so she was like currently like not here, but she didn't expect me to have my son like the next day and stuff like that. Like, she thought like she was gonna have time to go down there and come back, so she wasn't here. So my child's father, he was here at the house, and he was pretty much with me all day, and the doctors had told me that you're gonna get a call between 5 and 7 p.m. to let you know when to come down to the hospital, whether that be at 7, 8, 9, or whatever it can be. So I'm waiting all day. I'm I'm like antsy. I'm just sitting there asking his dad like, yo, can you believe we about to be parents? Can't wait to meet him. Like, what you like, you know, what you think? We was just waiting for the hospital call, and it got around like 7 and the hospital didn't call or whatever. So I'm just like, did they forget about me or something? Like, what's going on? So I end up calling the hospital, and they was just like, oh yeah, we have you on the list right here. You can come on down to the hospital at 9 o'clock. Basically, they were like, you could come at like 9 or whatever, and just come through the emergency, because the whatever part we were supposed to go in, I guess, was going to be closed. And I started packing my bag and, you know, getting stuff. I call my mom and I tell her, like, they said that to come to the hospital tonight and all stuff like that. So she was just alright. She was like, alright, have your sister drive you. So initially I was going to have my sister drive me, but then my son's father, parents, had ended up came down, and they was like, oh, we can drive you. Not even gonna hold y'all. I did not really want them there, to be honest. Like, I was just not in the right state of mind, like, mentally, for like certain people. My plan, like, nothing went as planned, and that's another key factor, that you cannot like plan these things, basically, because everything will just like basically go out of order, and you would like, it would just be not expected. So I really, like, I had this little chart thing, and on my chart I had like, I wanted my mom and my sister and the dad to be with me, and that's it. I didn't really want nobody else, but you know, things took a turn on its own. I can't really recall or remember what exactly took place before I went to the hospital. All I know is I was highly upset with his father, and we had got into an argument, and I was just like, I can't do this. I need like to go in another room. So I had went into my sister's room, and then I think he got upset because I had like walked into the other room, and he wanted to talk about it, but I didn't want to talk about it because I was just like, listen, I'm about to give birth. You trying to put me in stress and all this stuff I cannot do. Literally, the tensions that night, I felt like I could have just had a baby right then and there without no induction, because that's how crazy it really got. Fast forward, get in the labor and delivery room, basically, which is like way bigger than the recovery room, but we're gonna talk about that after the fact. So I get in there, and you know, the doctors come in there and they're like, all right, hi Katira, you know, nice to meet you. We're gonna be a doctor for the night, we're gonna be a nurse for the night. I promised my subscribers back then that I was gonna do a labor and delivery vlog, and that was my intention. But that kind of didn't go as planned, because when they was like, yeah, change your clothes and stuff like that, I went to change my clothes, and I think when I was in the bathroom I started feeling contractions on my own. They wasn't close together, they were like spaced out, but I was just like, ooh, these contractions is hitting. So if these contractions hurt this bad and they're about to induce me, I already know like it's about to be 10 times worse. So I was just like, you know, it's fine. So I changed my clothes, and I get in the bed, and then they come in and they were like, what they said? They said, oh, the first thing we're gonna do to get this induction started is we're gonna put a Foley balloon inside of your cervix, and this is basically gonna keep inflating and inflating, and then it's gonna go back down. It's gonna feel like pressure, so keep inflating. And this is just to soften your cervix, to open it, because I was like 2.5 centimeters, 3 centimeters dilated. So this was gonna help soften my cervix, so the baby could come down, basically, because he was already head down. But this is so he could come out. When they did that, first of all, I was so uncomfortable. That's the most uncomfortable feeling ever. Like, I was like, oh heck no, just ripped this baby out of me. Like, I was like in pain, but I was able to, I guess, take it because I had like a high pain tolerance. And I'm just sitting there chilling, and I had to have like the blanket on me even though I was hot, because his parents were in the room, and I'm just like, they're making me uncomfortable. I'm just like, this is just, I can't do this and stuff like that, right? I think I ended up falling asleep for a little bit. I don't even know if I fell asleep, but I think everybody else fell asleep, and I think I was just in there. And I'm gonna say like an hour or so, or hour or two later, the doctors came back in, or the nurse came back in, and they checked to see if my cervix had softened. When they see my cervix had softened some, they had went ahead and, you know, pulled the Foley balloon out. Then they come in with this, like, it looked like IV fluid, but it's really not. And they stuck like the, you know, the IV fluid, all that stuff in my arm. And this is steroid type stuff called Pitocin, which helps induce a labor. Is Pitocin, aka man-made contractions, because it's hooked up to the machine. It's hooked up to the contraction machine, and you can see that, you know, the higher the Pitocin, the higher the dosage goes, then the more contractions you will have, and it basically defeats the 411 method of contractions, because when you get the Pitocin, it is it's just the contractions just come like, and on the screen you see like your contractions and the man-made contractions, and my contractions started getting closer together because of these man-made contractions. So I was feeling the heat of both, like, combined. I literally felt like I was about to die. Like, that jump just hurt so much. Like, it was not, I couldn't even get up and walk. I couldn't even, like, I wanted to crouch up like a fetus, but at the same time I didn't want to do that because I felt like it was hurting. After they had did the Pitocin, basically, I just knew my son was coming. So I'm like, I'm not having this baby without my mother. Like, if my mother not here, this baby will stay in until she get here. I don't care. My nurses was laughing at me. I'm just like, no, somebody call my mother. So I call my mother. I'm like, Mom, where's you at? Where's you at? Like, and she was just like, I'm on my way, baby. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. And mind you, when I tell you my mom drive fast already, when she heard that I was in labor, she zoomed to the motherfucking hospital. Like, she was zooming. The contractions getting worse. His dad came with like, oh, you gonna hold my hands? And I'm just like, no. And I'm not saying no because I was still mad at him. I was saying no because I was in so much pain that I just didn't even want to be bothered. I didn't even know how to tolerate the pain. Like, I knew how to tolerate it, but I didn't even know how to, like, tolerate everybody else. So I'm just like, yeah, just leave me alone. I really was just, like, wanting my mom, basically, because I was scared. Doctors ended up coming back in, and then they had talked about epidural and different kinds of drugs for, you know, for labors and deliveries. And I was basically like, no, I don't want that. I want to have my baby natural. I want to push my baby out. Now, y'all can say, like, I must be smoking crack or doing drugs, because at this point, I don't know who in their right mind would say no to that, but I was all like, no, I'm just gonna thug it out. Said, okay, well, let me know if you change your mind, because right now you're only such and such centimeters dilated, and it was like, if you get to, like, I think 8 or something like that, then we can't give it to you no more, so just let us know. I call my mom back, and I'm like, Mom, where's you at? At this point, it's like 1 o'clock-ish, and she's like, I'm in South Carolina. I think she was like, I'm in South Carolina now. And I'm like, bro, we just called her an hour ago or 2 hours ago, and she was in Florida. When I tell you she zoomed, she really zoomed. Like, she was like, I'm in South Carolina now. I'll be touching North Carolina soon. By, like, An hour and 30 minutes later, she was at the hospital. So at like 2:30 a.m., she was at the hospital and it was still no baby. And I got to the hospital at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and right when I got to the hospital, I was basically induced. So we looking at 5 hours in of labor. And I'm talking about active labor, because them contractions, they was worrisome. Once my mom got there, the doctors had came back in, and they was asking me, you know, did I want to stand up and, you know, walk around and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but his parents was in the room, like I said before. So the doctors had asked me, do you want me to tell him to leave? And I was like, yeah. So doctors had told his parents that they had to leave because, you know, they didn't want me to be stressed out, and they saw that my blood pressure going up because I was just like under a lot of pressure. And once they left, I felt real comfortable. But I think like once my mom came, I felt way better because I just did not want to go through this without my mom. Like this was my first experience, and my mom basically walked me through my whole pregnancy, so I just didn't imagine not doing it with her. So when she came, I was just pretty much real happy that she came. My bad, y'all, my camera had died, so I'm back on my iPhone 11. After being like 5 hours since I was in, my doctors came back in, and they were like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and break your water because, you know, your water's not broken, so we're just gonna go ahead and break it. So they broke my water, and still no baby, and still in a lot of pain. So I'm just like, all right now. Desmond, you playing games. I think I ended up going to sleep. I don't know. I was in a lot of pain, but I think every time I fell asleep for a little bit of time that I could fall asleep, I didn't really feel no pain, so I was like, you know, happy about that. Oh yeah, and then once I wake up, it's like the morning time, and I'm basically still attached to the Pitocin. They got the Pitocin at a high dosage as well, like that jump from like 80, and I'm still like in active labor, still contractions coming back to back. My doctors that came in and said, you know, let's try walking, let's try moving around. My body had hurt so bad, like I just did not want to stand up. I was
crying like every 5 seconds. I think I just cried the whole time. I was crying all the time. Oh my god, you're crying. And my mom was like, it's okay.
I remember not wanting my mom to leave, but she literally had to leave because, you know, the kids and stuff were still at home because I got younger brothers and sisters who couldn't come to the hospital or who couldn't come in the room. And then plus my other sister, it was her birthday. So fun fact, my younger sister, she's a teenager, and my son, they have the same birthday. She was born, you know, on Valentine's Day, like early in the morning, but my son was born on Valentine's Day late at night. But yeah, so my mom still had to leave and go and do what she needed to do. And y'all want to know who didn't leave? His parents. His parents stayed at the hospital for that whole 24 hours. I don't think they ever left. Like, if they left, they went to get something to eat, but they didn't leave out the hospital to get something to eat. They went right downstairs and got something to eat because they was in that freaking hospital the whole time. And I'm like, oh my God, my own mother left. Y'all could leave. Y'all not missing nothing. We're gonna fast forward a little bit because I can't really remember what happened in between time. I really think we just still waiting. Oh yeah, and let's throw in the fact that we're at, you know, almost 12 hours and I had no epidural, no medication, so I'm really bugging right now. I'm like, this must be God's work because that ain't it, sis. If you feel like you can't take it, get that epidural. It is nothing wrong with epidural. It is nothing wrong with none of the medications that they are offering to give you guys. I mean, if you're into taking medication, if you're not, then, you know, kudos to you. But if you know, want to take it. Don't feel like you a punk or that you backed out or something just because you didn't take no epidural. Childbirth and pregnancies is just very high risk, and I feel like it's a very underrated discussion because people don't really know the significance and the severity of giving birth or carrying a child. So I'm just saying, it's nighttime and my night nurse come in and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I never get to see my same patient 2 nights in a row." And I'm just like, "Yeah." She's like, "You still didn't have the baby?" I'm like, "No, I still didn't have the baby," and stuff like that. Anesthesiologist came in and he was just like, "I'm gonna be an anesthesiologist. We have to conduct an emergency C-section because your water been broke for at least 12 hours now, and there's no more fluid, and so this is kind of going to be dangerous for the baby. So we have to conduct an emergency C-section." And with an emergency C-section, that means that I know that you didn't want epidural, but this is the procedure, so you have to get it done. And I had to sign these waivers in this form and stuff like that. So in my head, I'm just like, "Oh, are you serious?" Because besides being scared of birth, I think my biggest fear was being scared of epidural. I just heard I didn't hear that many horror stories, but some of the horror stories that I did hear scared me to death. I was like, on that note, I'll pass. I'll just hold him until he's ready to just come out. But I knew that getting the epidural and getting the C-section was in his best interest. Anything to keep my baby boy safe and healthy. So I'm like, okay, gotta do that. But let me tell y'all, when I got that epidural, now, mind y'all, my body is small and the mass of my body is small, so I didn't really have to press the thing for more epidural because the amount that they gave me, I felt was just more than enough. I was like, heck no, this had me feeling weird. But once the epidural went, in my body, I don't know if it's a mental thing or not, but in 2.5 seconds, I felt no contractions, no pain. I felt so much better. And then I didn't feel my legs no more, and I was like, "Oh, wow." And I feel like a side effect to the epidural though is the shaking, because I literally could not stop shaking. I was shaking so bad. They was telling me that it was normal. I was thinking it was not normal, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. But anyways, after they gave me epidural, they left and they had to go and deliver somebody else's kid. 30 minutes. I think it was 30 minutes or an hour. I'm not sure, but it was between that time frame. They had ended up coming back and they started wheeling me out to basically the surgery room. They take me off the little bed thing and put me on this table. This table was scary, y'all. I kept thinking, I know this is sad to say, but I just kept thinking that I was gonna die and that I was not gonna make it, and I was scared, and I was just praying to God, please God, get me through this. I'm scared, just please get me through this. Yeah. So they had me on this table and it was cold, and then they had to prop my legs up, but I couldn't really feel my legs, so they had to prop them up for me, and they had to hold I think the nurses had held them, but then my hands kept my arms, my hands, because I told you I was already shaking, so my hands and my arms, they were shaking really bad. So the nurse, they had put these little arm things, these little arm table things, and they put my arms on and they strapped them to them. So now I'm just like, oh my God, please get out of me. I'm crying and stuff like that. And I'm just so overwhelmed with emotions. I just couldn't think straight. And then I remember saying, oh, I gotta throw up. I'm scared. I gotta throw up. And they were like, just throw up. Just turn your head to the side and throw up. And I remember just throwing up. I'm like, just throwing up. And then I remember the doctor coming over to me and saying that, you know, you shouldn't feel it. So they were saying that you shouldn't feel what we're doing. Like, you might feel the pressure, like the touching of it, but you shouldn't feel it. But I could have sworn that I felt, you know, them cutting me, or at least tugging the baby out of me. But they're saying that I just felt the pressure, and maybe I really did just feel the pressure. I was just, a lot was going on, so I couldn't really think straight, and I didn't know what to think. They ended up pulling him out, and then initially, soon they put him out, I heard him cry, and then I was like, oh my god, and I started crying even more, and I'm just like, give me my baby, give me my baby, like, I'm ready to see my baby, like, just give him to me, give him to me. They took him from me, then they brought him to the table, then his dad went over there, and I guess cut the little umbilical cord, but I remember yelling at everyone, like, let me see my baby, let me see my baby, and then they did the skin to skin, and just threw my baby on me, and I had, you know, held him. They had took him back, and then they had cleaned him up, and then they gave him to his dad, and I remember being jealous, like, I want him back, like, let me see him back, but they had to literally get me cleaned up and stitched up and all that stuff. And then our nurse, she had took some really good pictures and stuff that I'm just gonna insert here, put it right here. But yeah, she took some really nice pictures and stuff, and I know the nurse had came over and said, you know, put him under your gown and see if he a lot torn, because I had been practicing breastfeeding and stuff, because I said I was going to breastfeed. So when I put him under my gown, he automatically latched onto the left side, and he was just eating. I'm just like, dang, this boy eating like he ain't never ate before. He greedy right now. Like, still today, he about to be 2 years old, and he's still greedy. That was my labor and delivery story. That was my Valentine's baby, aka Baby Cupid, and that's basically how my Valentine's Day went. But now the day means much more to me because it's my little baby boy's birthday, so that's the bonus. Thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye-bye. Bye.
Kick it off like this. I ain't come for a hug, head straight for a kiss. Don't come for my face, cause I'm talking about my I'ma need all of my kisses down there. One hand on my neck, one pulling on my hair. Hold up, I'ma tell you everything I want from you.